Welcome back, quick reader. How is your reading? It is super what? It is super quick. And what we mean by that is not frenzy quick. There's a peace of mind here. You're having better focus. You're starting to understand more and more. And I appreciate you showing up the way that you do. So let me say that because most people don't show up. And we said right in the beginning, two principles here. If you just show up and you play full out, you'll get results. And I see the results. Are you starting to feel the results though? It's only been about a week together and we have so much more time together. And this is just the beginning. So I'm so excited for you. Now in this session, I'm gonna share with you one technique that's gonna supercharge your brain so you could be in a state where you could absorb the information better. So not only will it increase your reading speed, but it's going to start improving your reading comprehension. And that's really key because we're focusing on speed, but we're going to slowly move into more and more smart reading. You might be noticing as you're reading your material, there's certain organs that are very important, certain body parts, if you will. We're talking about your finger, we're talking about your brain, but also it's your eyes, right? Which sense do we use to be able to absorb this information? You're not using it through your sense of hearing. You're not using it to your sense of smell or your sense of taste. You're probably not eating the book or absorbing it through osmosis. Right? You're absorbing it through your eyes. So eye health is very important. So the challenge is when you're looking around throughout the day, a lot of people, they're always just looking at the screen and it's like right in front of them and they're training their eyes and their eye quality in terms of their vision is starting to erode in certain ways and as people grow older and such. But there are certain exercises you could do to keep it toned. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you an exercise, and the best part about this exercise is not only is it going to help with your visual field, but it's also going to help to integrate your brain. What do I mean by that? Well, we learned back in high school biology, your brain, your cortex, if you will, is broken into two parts, your left side and your right side. And your left side, when we say somebody's very left brain is very logical. It's very language dominant. It's very linear, if you will. Now, if your left brain is logical, your right brain, and it's much more complex than this, but your right brain, if your left brain is logical, is more creative, right? It's more experiential. It's more visualization. It's more feeling, if you will. And so we want to be able to activate both of those things. So not only do you see the words, but you're experiencing the words. But separating your left and right brain is this thing called your corpus callosum. This is kind of like a bridging station, a communication station between your left and right brain. And so what can you do to actually facilitate that communication? So when you see a word, you don't just see the word or say the word, you experience it and imagine it and visualize it. So there's some exercises you could do with your body. Because here's the thing, everyone knows that there's a brain-body connection, right? There's a mind-body connection. But did you know there's also a body-mind connection? That by using your body in certain ways actually stimulates different parts of your brain. And so when you look at this midline, right? If you were to imagine a line right down the middle of yourself, whenever you're crossing that midline, you're creating these cross laterals and you're enhancing the communication between your left and right brain. Now, why is that important? Well, like we talked about, when you're reading, most people, when they're reading, their left brain is more lit up. It's logical, linear progression of words and sounds, that inner voice that you have when you hear yourself reading inside your head. But you also want to be able to visualize and imagine and create and feel. And that's a little bit more right brain dominant. And so we want to increase the communication by using our body in different ways. And I'm going to show you one technique that's going to help integrate that, but also help to be able to exercise your eyes. Because that organ is a very powerful muscle, and so but the challenge is we train it just to kind of look right here all the time. And what I'm going to show you is a process called educational kinesiology by a brand called Brain Gym, and they're called Lazy Eights. Lazy Eights. So what's an eight? You know what an eight looks like in terms of figure eight? Imagine it's so lazy it's laying on its side, right? And it actually looks like an infinity sign, for those of you familiar with an infinity sign. So what does that mean? I want you to take your finger or a pen and I want you to move it in the direction and follow and outline an infinity sign or a lazy eight. I like the infinity sign because the word lazy really doesn't resonate with me. I like infinity, where you have limitless possibilities, if you will. You have infinite potential in terms of your learning and your intelligence and your reading abilities. So look at the infinity sign, and what I want you to do is just trace it with your finger right now. Do it with me right now. And you're keeping your head still and you're just using your eyes to focus at the tip of your finger. So I want you just to look at your finger and just with your eyes follow the tip of your finger in the form of an infinity sign. But here's the key. You want to do it slowly. That's the key. You want to do it super, super slowly. The slower, the better. You know, I had a martial arts instructor tell me years ago that slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So that's why in a lot of martial arts, they teach you to learn the forms very slowly. Now also reverse. Remember, you're going slow and you're reversing. Now you could also, if you have a pen, you could certainly do it with a pen also as well. Just look at the tip of your pen and just do the same form. And breathe also. Some people have a tendency to hold their breath when they're doing something new. But oxygen, I find, is very important to learning. Remember, you're not moving your head. The principle is you're not moving your head. You're just following one point with your eyes. You're going into an infinity sign, and you're doing it super, super slow. And you reverse it also as well. Go both directions. Now notice every single time it crosses the midline, you're enhancing the communication between your left and right brain. Okay? So what I'm going to ask you to do, quick readers, is this. I'm going to ask you, before you practice and do your drills every single day, I'm going to ask you to practice this infinity drill, right? These lazy eights, if you will. Now that you practice that for about a minute, I want you to pick up your book. Remember, this is the active part. This is where we're going to build your reading muscles. Pick up your book. Notice where you left off, because you're always putting a mark in the margin. If there isn't a mark in the margin, put a little mark in the margin now. And we're going to time you again. And we're going to time you. And remember, you're going to read for reading comprehension, and we're going to test you for your 2 minutes. Let's do your 2-minute drill right now. You know it so well, you could teach this. In fact, I hope you are teaching this to other people also as well. Begin now. Okay, and stop. How was that, quick reader? What I want you to do now is count the number of lines if you haven't already, divide it by 2 because you read for 2 minutes, multiply by the average words per line, maybe it's 10 words per line. You have your words per minute for today, and share your progress. Share your feedback is how did that exercise with the infinity, how did that feel for you? And if it was difficult, you don't have to super push yourself with that. You know, be careful, be mindful. I encourage you in general, if you have issues with your vision, always see a specialist for that because that's very important. Some people will come to me and they have trouble with the reading, and what they found is once they change their prescription for their glasses or their contacts, everything opened up for them. But these are little exercises you could do. So your homework assignment right now, your homework assignment is to read for 10 minutes. But this time, before you read, you want to prepare. This is kind of like your warm-up. Your infinity exercise or your lazy eights become your warm-up, your stretching, if you will, before you go into your sprint, before you go into your marathon practice exercises to enhance left-right brain communication as your body moves, your brain is grooving, but also to enhance your quality of vision, meaning that so you're not just looking direct in front all the time, you might be able to expand it, kind of like hitting the different corners. So you have some flexibility and some agility when it comes to your vision. So again, 10 minutes of practice, go full out, make sure you do your lazy eights beforehand, and I'll see you in tomorrow's lesson.